Hi there, Prairie Plant Girl here. So it is October 28th, 2021. I can't believe it. It is so beautiful out, and we've had the most glorious fall ever. So I've managed to grow a few crops since early September, and I still have plants of potatoes that need to come out of the ground. I actually still have carrots. I can see a kohlrabi over there. I'm not sure if it'll be good to harvest yet. I have things still growing and happening in my garden. Normally it's frozen, blackened, sometimes even covered in snow by now. But anyone living in this same zone climate as I am in Saskatchewan, Canada, we all knew this beautiful weather was going to come crashing to an end, and the forecast in the next week looks like that's what's going to happen. So I wanted to get out here real quick, show you what I've managed to accomplish with this late sowing that I did. This is my fabric raised beds that I put in this spring, and then this is just a small hoop tunnel, greenhouse tunnel type thing to go over top. And then I've also had some harvest guard on it as well. So I've opened it all up. I had the harvest guard over the plants. I had the doors to this tunnel closed. There's just a little crack. They have netted windows on the side, and I have them both just cracked just a little bit, just so there's a little bit of air movement in here. So I'm just bring you in and show you what's going on here. And then I need to take and go and harvest my potatoes, because anyone who has harvested potatoes in cold, wet soil knows that's not fun. And I want to just go and get that done before it gets any colder and wetter in that ground. I'm not sure, that again was a late planting. So I'm not sure how well those potatoes have done, or if there's even anything there. They hadn't actually flowered that I'm aware of before the frost took the plants out, but they're all died back and have been for a while now. So I need to get that done. But first I want to bring you in and just show you what I have growing here at the end of October. I just can't believe it. Not sure how much longer this is going to last. It could be one more night and I'm done. Could be another few weeks. Time will tell. So come on in and let's have a look. So in here you can see I have some Swiss chard right here. I have spinach over here. I have a couple of different kinds of kale growing here. I have some baby pak choys, a couple of plants of those. And then down at the other side, so there's a little bit of lettuce growing in the back there, and it's looking pretty rough. We had a really windy day the other day, and the stakes actually came out of the other side of this tunnel and lifted, and it was coming and smashing against the lettuce on this side and blew the frost covering off of it. And it was like that, I think, for a day before I realized what was fully happening here. So the lettuce is looking rough, and I'd actually planted, I think, 4 kinds of lettuce, and I only had one come up. I'll have to refer to the package. I'm not sure what variety that is. This is either a cauliflower or a cabbage. I planted them by seed at that time just to kind of see what would happen. I can take the leaves and eat those in a saute or a stir fry, and they'll be lovely like that. I didn't really expect to get like heads of cabbage or cauliflower. I can see a slug moving through here. I do not want to pick it up with my bare hands, but I do not want it in here. You little slug. They don't miss an opportunity, do they? Such a dry climate here, but it's damp in there, and I don't know, they just seem to come out of wherever. Off you go. Birds will enjoy that. So that's been my the biggest problem here, I think, between the wind kind of knocking things around a little bit and the slugs. But I've been getting just beautiful harvests of radishes out of here. I would say I will be trying to plant radishes every year in the fall from now on. These have been the nicest radishes I think I've ever grown for texture and flavor. These were from radish seed I'd saved from a plant that went to seed last year, and I believe they're like a French breakfast. But yeah, these have been just gorgeous, gorgeous to eat. Oh, there's another slug in there. Yeah. Yeah, the radishes have been really nice. I've been enjoying them and I've been sharing them with my parents because they love radishes as well. Really nice to have. And I've picked a few stir fries and salads out of here as well. So it's been nice. Nice to have these greens this time of year. And I think I'll pick some of the Swiss chard and spinach, pak choy. Maybe we can have some of that with supper tonight too. This little greenhouse is nice because it opens up wide and it fits just perfect on these fabric beds, which I didn't realize when I picked up the beds. I've had this little tunnel for years. With the pak choy, I've just been harvesting the leaves off the side and letting the plants grow. And that way I can extend the harvest. And it works well that way for me. Oh, I see another slug. That'll be a nice little salad tonight. Get that slug. Man, they've really, that's the worst I've seen them out in here. That's a fat one. Okay, so that's a pretty good little salad to be able to pick in Zone 3, Saskatchewan, Canada, at the end of October. I'm really, really happy with this. I'm gonna have to try and repeat this next year and see if I can get the same results or if it's just this amazing autumn weather. I guess the next few days will help me to know that too as it drops colder. But this has been really interesting. I'm glad I decided to try this. Let's get it covered back up though. The nights are freezing every night now. Okay, let's go fill this up with potatoes, hopefully. I really don't know what's going to be in there. Okay, so this bed, if you've been following my channel, you'll know was full of garlic at the beginning of the season. And I'd planted a little bit of zinnias in the front and some marigolds. There was actually a there was a pumpkin in the back there. And so I had a pretty good production out of this bed through the beginning of the season. And then towards the end of July, I took some potatoes that I'd taken, small seed potatoes, and planted them up just into like small plant pots. I don't know, half a liter or so their size, I think they were. I just planted those up. So those were probably planted about the beginning of July. And then at the end of July, when I harvested my garlic, I took those pre-sprouted potatoes and I planted them in here where the garlic was. And around the edge of the bed, I planted some, I think they were homesteader peas. Now the peas had just started to flower and pod out, and the peas weren't filling out yet. And we got our killing frost that took them out. If I had covered them with frost blanket that day, I think they would have been fine. But I was busy. I think that was our Canadian Thanksgiving weekend, and I just didn't get them covered up. So the peas were taken out by frost right before they were, like, probably a week, maybe 2 weeks before I could have been harvesting them. But I mean, it was just a good learning experience still, and I'm so glad I planted them. It takes nothing, and maybe I got a little bit of nitrogen in the soil out of that. So that's what all this is peas that have died back. And then the potato vines are around the center. And I wish I could remember how many plants I put in here because the vines have really died back. They were taken out by that same frost. But I'm just gonna get in here. You can see I've pulled my zinnias, I cut my zinnias off and I've just laid them at the front of the bed. And I just laid them down there. If their stems and leaves have any overwintering good insects or anything in them, or eggs, that's good to keep them around. But B, I laid them where I did so it would kind of mark where the zinnias had started and the potatoes were planted, so I would remember when I got out here. So I'm gonna pull out the pea plants first just to get them out of my way. And then I'll try and work on the potatoes. You think with this long, extended, beautiful weather, I would be further ahead of cleaning up my garden this year, but I think the lack of cold weather has kind of made it hard for me to feel motivated to get on this job. So we'll see. With all those slugs that were in that other bed, who knows, maybe they're down here eating my potatoes too, if I even have any. So this looks like there's a plant here. I didn't bring out a pitchfork. I'm hoping I can just kind of dig around and see if there's anything in here. Oh, I feel potatoes. So I'm gonna get something out of here. Better get my container here. Fall leaves. So I suspect these potatoes are all going to be quite wet. There might have just been one there. So they'll have to sit out and dry a little bit before they can be stored. They should be fairly hardened off just from being in the ground this long after the plants have died. Usually they'll be hardened off. And yeah, see, I can't easily just wipe or tear their skin. So they're fairly hardened off and ready for storage that way, but you want them dried out. It looks like there was just, oh, there's another little one here. Okay, so it looks like I got 2 potatoes out of this first hill here. So we'll see. Like I said, they hadn't flowered yet, and they're kind of planted in a unique way this year. But these were just kind of bonus potatoes using a bonus space. So I'm going to continue just going through and pulling up these plants and seeing what I have. And I'll bring you back in the end so you can have a look with me. Oh, there's another one already. Wow. I can't believe that. I really wasn't even sure if I'd have potatoes in this bed. And I pulled some of the these are the biggest potatoes I pulled out of any of the places I planted potatoes this year. These are Norland potatoes. I had Norland planted in pots and in some of my other raised beds, 2 of the raised beds. But these are by far the largest. They're beautiful, they're clean. There's no scab. I mean, they're muddy, but there's no scab or disease on them at all. I had just this one, I think. No, there was another one that was deeper. Had a large indent on it anyways. I thought there was a larger one here, but I kind of think, oh, there's a worm in there. I don't know if that's caused by slug damage or this, oh, I can see another potato. I'm gonna have to go back through this bed. But anyways, I kind of think there was, the potatoes are planted deep, and this bed I had done some trench composting in last year, and there's some real kind of woody, sticky material in the bottom. And some of the potatoes were pushed straight down at the bottom there against that. So I don't know if these are caused from that or if it was some uneven watering that had them cracking and splitting or what happened, but there's just a couple that did that, like 2, I think. So I'm okay with that. They're still fine to eat. The closer I got to the zinnias, the smaller the potatoes were and the less that were on the hills. But I think that's just the zinnias, you know, taking up most of the nutrients and water, and they would have been shading the potato plants as well. But Like I said, I just saw one more potato, so I'm gonna have to have a quick dig through here, and if I find any great amount more, I'll bring you back. But what I'm gonna do with these, because they are quite dirty and a little bit muddy. We've had some rain this past week, not too bad. But so I'm just going to leave them. I'll just put a towel over the potatoes right in this box so this will breathe. And I'll set them in my garage, which is cool, but warm enough that this dirt will dry off a bit. And then I can just come, with my hand like this, or if I need more, just a very soft brush. Give them a little wipe to clean them off. And then I'll put them in the potato sacks that I made for myself last year. And I'm running out of room in those, so some of them might just go into cardboard boxes if I need to. So that's my plan. That was a really nice surprise. I really didn't think there'd be much in there. And I have these greens and radishes that I collected out of my other raised bed. And I actually was finding the odd garlic that was still in there. And I don't know I think I might just pop this. I popped another one back in here somewhere, and I think I'll just put this one back in and just see what happens with it if I have garlic plant come up in this bed again. Obviously I missed a few when I harvested them, but hopefully you found this interesting. And if the cold weather's coming and you still have jobs to do like I do, maybe it's time to get out there and get them done. But yeah, it's been a great year, and I've been enjoying it. So just a few things. I still have carrots out here and parsnips that I'll need to harvest, but I'm going to try and leave them as long as I can out in the ground here. It just seems to be the easiest place for me to store them. So that's what I'm going to do with those. I'll get these inside, have a nice salad for supper. It's been a good harvest day. So thanks for watching. Bye.